Bye, everybody. Bye.
right? But it's not that the other stuff is over. No, it just transforms into a new covenant.
Isa, I understand like the way Christianity works and that it has its own perspective, and I'm not like taking you from it. From the Christian's perspective, yes, that was the end. That was the fulfillment of the prophecy. We are technically in the first epoch of the Messianic age.
Correct.
Which is, in my opinion, like a strange kind of claim. I don't think that's the best argument.
You're the original movie, we're the sequel.
No, yeah, right. A sequel, but no. To be fair, a sequel that quickly realized it needed to be a trilogy.
A trilogy. But so we need that.
Yeah, because you will come again.
What I mean is this.
Just very quick, when it comes again, the prophecy now says that there will be no doubt that it is him, that everyone in the world will recognize him as the Messiah. So if we are right, if the Christians are right, even you guys, the Jews, will recognize him as the Messiah. And there will be no doubt about it. And if it's not him, and it's just some random warrior guy that happens to be the Messiah, not the Son of God, we will recognize him too. So we will find out who was right and who was not.
Right.
But
that, Isa, what I'm trying to explain is, practically, whatever complex theology is behind it, your religion and my religion have both put us into the position of waiting for the Messiah to come.
correct. Yes.
We're quibbling over quantities of Messiahs coming, right? That's the big, amazing debate. And at the moment that the Messianic era begins, which again, I would say, is the rule by the folk of finish. You see in the New York Times when someone gets anointed, that guy will either be a resurrected Jew from thousands of years ago, or some other guy. And either one will all acknowledge him as the king of the Jews, and that will be the fulfillment of the prophecy.
Oh my God, so you're talking about Trump.
No, wait, slow down.
Listen, I'm saying this because every people are saying that he was anointed by God.
And slow down. I'm not saying Trump. But Trump's grandchildren are straight up Jews.
Yes.
Could they be, are they the direct descendants from David?
So wait, what are you saying? The throne is in the United States of America in the White House?
Apparently, maybe after all, the Mormons were not wrong. And actually, Jesus was about to come back in the U.S.
Listen, those children have a mother who came from Donald Trump and converted fully to Orthodox Judaism and is married to a full-blooded born Jew. Those kids are straight up Jews. So I'm not saying that Trump is anointed, but I'm not exactly excluding the possibility that his grandchildren could be anointed.
But they would have to come from straight line from David. Do they?
Well, that would mostly be like laying a charge. Like if Jared Kushner's family does have any kind of attachment, they could, if they want, try to make the argument. If they wanted to get into like deep Israeli politics.
What about her lineage?
But Isa, I'll cut to the chase. Far more likely, the true person that would gain power of leading the Jews in the land of Israel is going to be some rabbi or politician in the land of Israel, speaking Hebrew to the Jews, following the Torah, right?
Well, we don't know. Sometimes God works in very miraculous and unexpected ways.
Isa, at any moment, the miraculous temple could drop from the sky and everything would change. But I'm simply saying, if we assume that the path of history will follow through, then the person with power in Israel, following the law to bring about the prophecy, is going to be an Israeli politician or rabbi speaking Hebrew.
Probably, but it doesn't have
Makes you
to.
think that it's not Donald Trump's grandkids.
Because those guys have the army. Like, even if you wanted to be some, like, a renegade force, you'd have to rise to the brink of the to bring about the Messianic age and where to go.
Right? You can still fix that. What about maybe that's like Trump is wanting to create Trump corner and not release?
Could be.
Seriously. Okay, I had to go with
I mean, no matter what, Trump has made
why,
Educate
Mixed, why don't you explain to them the difference between Mashiach and a king? I mean, why would you? And then also just meaning the personal psychological, like there's a whole personal element to this, and then a material political element to it. But like, where is the differentiation or the boundaries?
There was a very, very wise rabbi a long time ago who was approached by a non-Jew who was trying to criticize Judaism, and he was told, explain to me the essence of the Torah while I stand on one foot. And that rabbi, very, very wisely, chased him out of the school because of the disrespect shown to like an epoch of literary philosophical development.
Is that what everyone is doing?
And you would ask anyone to express the truth of it while you stand on one foot. Get out of the school.
You see, stop disrespecting him. Edmund?
Now,
No, I thought the whole thing was like stand on your one foot and then say, treat your neighbor as you want yourself treated. I mean, it's just like the golden rule. What's the point?
We heard the end of the story because I just told you the beginning. The guy then tried it again at the nice rabbi, face Hillel. And Rabbi Hillel, when he asked him again, Hillel says, okay, I can take this challenge. And then he says, do not do unto others as you would not do would not have done to you. The rest is commentary. We'll go into that. Those were two different legitimate answers, and I decided to give you one about your respect about the complexity of Torah at this time.
Amazing.
Okay, so I mean, can you again possibly just compress and summarize the secret mystery riddle so everybody here at least can come back to baseline? Thank you.
Okay, your riddle is the struggle of human existence that man's mind grasps for understanding and never gains it. Right, it's sort of the agnostic struggle of man. He has that riddle stuck in his head. The solution to the riddle is that the riddle was there for you to think about it. Riddles aren't there to give you facts. They're there to open up. They're for interpretation. They have alternative answers even. The riddle is the question because that is your state. Like the now is the truth of what you are. You are the search for the riddle.
So you are essentially the answer, or you are the riddle, and the riddle is the answer.
The riddle just kind of circles out in you, and then just chill out, then get back to work.
But that's how I see things. I don't look for answers anymore.
But see, Isa, how can you believe that Jesus Christ is going to come back to the Mount of Olives and create a new world government? I mean, it's you, Isa. The more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're gonna get.
That I believe that, but I understand Christianity, and I have been trying to understand Christianity from a philosophical perspective, and as I want to also Judaism, and so trying to put the pieces together of the whole story and the whole context. But I am not a religious person. I am not a believer, in these type of things. I'm sorry. I enjoy reading the Bible,
Whatever you believe.
but from a philosophical perspective, not necessarily from
I know, I'm being facetious. The point is, this is still all therapy or self-psychology. I mean, I may be gaslighting, but
I love it.
yeah, this is the whole point. This is essentially what I call self-actualization comedy or self-actualization therapy.
And that's right, and it's amazing.
Did Big Zed Rage quit?
Did he leave? Oh God. Yeah, he said he needs to go back to work, I think. Yeah, we've been talking the whole day. About nothing. Well, actually, no, I think that this has been a nice conversation, a nice room. I've loved it.
See, it is a conversation about nothing, but the thing is, by having a conversation about nothing, you're technically talking about everything, which is the all, which is God. This is like Seinfeld. Clown House is like literally Seinfeld in a real-time social audio app. This is an app about, if you want to make it interesting, it's about nothing, because it's the most universal conversation. If everything is God, then the conversation is interesting. But if you go into a rage room, and it's a very toxic environment, it's very taxing to the human brain or the listener. So it's much nicer to have a room about God, which is essentially talking about relaxation.
I don't want you to leave, but didn't you say that you were going somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know. My friend hasn't texted me or called me. I don't know if he meant like an early lunch or late lunch, but I'm sitting here hanging some frames. He might. Who knows? I don't really care what he does. I mean, if he doesn't call me by like 1 o'clock, maybe I'm gonna go to the gym because I'm becoming a fatty minute by minute.
And where were you going to go to have lunch?
To the Old Irving Park Brewery for a delicious chicken chop salad and maybe a wonderful beer. Just a small one, not a big one.
And also went to have his sex talk. Her sex talk, sorry, not his sex talk, her sex. That is weird. I wouldn't allow my kids to go to this sex class. Especially in this day and age, when they have got this ideology.
I agree. I mean, that's why Anna's a Democrat. She's not a Republican, and she's just, following the popularity of the times in her cool red hat, probably to try to get a husband or a boyfriend, which I think she did. So maybe that was her real objective. But if you're going to let your children essentially do ridiculous, stupid education, and you have the opportunity to opt out, but yet you allow it and permit it, you have to be careful about what your children are listening to. That's the whole point of having children is to create fences for them, because all these horrific pitfalls of communication. And that's why, I hope the room is helpful to some people. So they're more aware of the problem of communication. We don't have too many problems, but the communication problem is a major problem. Nobody is in control of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all niggas haven't rage quit yet?
No, we're here and we're queer.
Zach, could you maybe read some Tao Te Ching so everybody can know the basis of this room and all rooms, which is the Tao? Thank you very little.
The way that can be named is not the eternal way. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Naming is the source. What is it? The way that can be named. We'll just chew on that for a minute. I've been hypnotized by Edmund from the jump, from day one, to this day. All right, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is eternal. Naming is the origin of all particular things. desire, realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. Zero is the incomprehensible number of truth, everywhere and nowhere. Conceptual nothingness, though more real than real, is beyond the limits of the human mind. Zero and nothingness are full of energy and
Are
intelligence.
you reading from the Tao? Hello?
Oh, well, have you
Are
ever
you
read
reading
the
from
Tao
the
Te
Tao?
Yeah, I said yes. Have you ever read the Tao Te Ching?
Yeah, I have it, and I read it a couple of years ago. It's a very small book. So let me go through it.
Book.
Bookshelf. It's a very tiny book. It's like here, the Tao Te Ching. It has just like very short.
Well, size doesn't matter.
It does matter.
There's a second G spot in the back.
Mine has
You know about that, Abraham?
81 verses. Is that all?
Yeah, I thought it was 84 maybe.
I have 81.
You got the fucking.
And then I have notes. So for example, the number 81 says, true words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true.
True.
Wise men don't need to prove their point. Men who need to prove their point aren't wise.
Wise.
The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao approaches by not forcing, by not dominating. The master leads. And then there is the commentary about it. It says the master has no possessions. These no possessions may include a house, a car, a computer, a room full of books, and an electric toothbrush. The more he does for others, the happier he is, because he is doing it for himself. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The less he holds on to, the more he can give himself to others. When he can give himself completely, his wealth is infinite. Isn't that beautiful?
Isa, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone.
That's true.
When nothing is done, I did it.
When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. That's beautiful.
Governing a country is like frying a small fish. You spoil it with too much poking.
Without opening your door, you can open your heart to the world. Without looking out your window, you can see the essence of the town. The more you know, the less you understand. The master arrives without leaving, sees the light without looking, and achieves without doing a thing.
To talk little is natural. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this? Heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? He who follows the way is at one with the way. He who is virtuous experiences virtue. He who loses the way feels lost. Fuck. When you are at one with the Tao welcomes you. When you are at one with virtue, the virtue is always there. When you are at one with Clown House, the Clown House is experienced willingly. He who does not trust Clown House will not be trusted by Clown House. That's your book, Edmund, The Tao of Clown House.
Yeah.
That is a good house title. There should be a house.
The Tao gives birth to one. One gives birth to two. Two gives birth to three. Three gives birth to all things. All things have their back to the female and stand facing the male. When male and female combine, all things achieve harmony. Ordinary men hate solitude, but the master makes use of it, embracing his aloneness, realizing he's one with the whole universe.
God damn, man. You gotta read this every day, basically. You have to read it every day. You have to read it every day.
All of it?
Yeah, I think. Because otherwise
Yeah,
you forget.
The reason why it's so important is if you are the riddle that you're secretly trying to solve, this book helps you secretly solve that riddle very easily and quickly. All the talk and all the time spent on this app does not do that, but this book does, in my opinion.
That's right. This one I like. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be gay. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be giving everything, give everything up. The master, by residing in Clubhouse, sets an example for all beings. Because he does not display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself.
Those who recite the Tao on Clown House do not know Tao. Those who know Tao meditate and sit in silence. Those who break the silence on Clown House are like farts, air passing over a turd.
Oh, man. There's one, I can't find it right now. Do you know this one, Edmund? It's like, in pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In pursuit of the Tao, every day something is taken away, or removed, or uncovered, or something. Look, do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you lose it. There is a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, a time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are without trying to control them. She lets them go their own way and resides in the center of the circle.
Fill your bowel to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to discern.
Do you know it's fill your bowl?
I know, I said bowel.
Okay, let me read one. This is verse 44. It's called Choices. Which do you value more, your wealth or your wellness? Which is more harmful, to lead or to lose? The greater is your attachment, the more bereft is your release. The more you hoard, the less is left to enjoy. Those on the path to the great integrity flow without forcing, leaving no space for disasters. The commentary is most people given the opportunity would choose wealth over wellness, winning over losing. They cling desperately and dependently in their close relationships and hoard their possessions. These are choices, says Lao Tzu, that lead to disaster. Our alternative is to flow without forcing and to release ourselves from our false values and counterproductive behaviors. Like verse 43, it is useful to be reminded of the choices and values that can help to direct us toward the path leading to the great integrity. But to stay the course, people from everywhere need to join us.
My 44 reads different. It's a different one. It says fame or integrity? Which is more important? Money or happiness? Which is more valuable? Success or failure? Which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. That is beautiful. Shit, I needed to
See,
hear
this
that.
is a hypnosis. This is a
I needed to hear
neurolinguistic
this one
reprogramming. It is. It's a reprogramming. And this is what you have to do daily, in my opinion. It's a daily renewal. Imagine listening to Clown House for 3 years straight. You'll be fucking, your brain will essentially be a mosh pit. This is a rectification tool of self analysis. It's a beautiful tool to use.
When Clubhouse is in harmony with the Tao, the factories make trucks and tractors. No, that doesn't sound. It would be when Clubhouse is in harmony with the Tao, the moths make. I don't know what to say. The rooms make moths, and I don't know. I fucked it up. When a country goes counter to the Tao, warheads are stockpiled outside the cities. This one is not speaking to me right now.
So one way to reset it is just to say, take the deepest breath of the day, hold it for 10 seconds, let it go, and then let the Tao flow.
When a superior man hears of the Tao, when a superior man hears of the Tao, he immediately begins to embody it. When an average man hears of the Tao, he half believes it, half doubts it. When a foolish man hears of the Tao, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark, the path forward seems to go back, the direct path seems long, true power seems weak, true purity seems tarnished, true steadfastness seems changeable, the greatest art seems unsophisticated, the greatest love seems indifferent, the greatest wisdom seems childish. Like John on Clubhouse. The Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things. I mean, that's amazing. This is the thing about the religious debates on Clown House, is that people say, God is this. We were just talking about this the other day. Like, I can't believe how many people talk about the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, and they don't know about the Tao. And all that the Tao says is basically, if you think you're right, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Exactly.
As soon as you think you're right, you're wrong. Because whatever is controlling the universe cannot be named. It cannot be defined. And if it could be defined, it's like it wouldn't be cool. The thing that makes it so cool is that it's this huge energy that our puny human brain can't even fucking comprehend. And that's why the Tao is nice. It uses a lot of natural, the Taoist artists always would like paint a river or paint a mountain, because it's like you can't describe what it is. Look at the river, dummy. That's what it is. Look at the mountain. That's what it is. It doesn't really have any further description.
No, what you're saying is the words aren't as good as the real thing. So, but that's also like saying, be here now. Be here now. Stop with your bullshit debate. Stop with your repetitions and your memory of fucking history hypnosis. No one gives a fuck anymore. Once you know about the Tao and Zen and being in the now, you realize that all these rooms, all these debates that go on for years and years and years, they will continue going on, which is essentially like jerking yourself off forever and never getting smart enough to either automate it or find somebody else to do it for you.
Well, this one is also very nice. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard, the slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. Is my Tao different than yours?
Yeah, they're all different. Which one is yours?
Tao Te Ching, the Book of the Way, Lao Tzu, translated by Stephen Mitchell.
Right, that's the one that I have. I like that.
Sutherland's. They got a decent.
So,
Edmund has a different one. He has several. But this is the only one that I have. We have the same one.
but is it, so why are there
It's a
different?
translation from the Chinese. Do you know how to speak
Yeah, but they
Chinese?
should at least sound similarly, no?
They are similar, but it's, look, I don't speak Chinese, but I understand that you got
I'll leave right
like
now. Put my shoes on.
one little chicken scratch for a
Okay.
whole sentence, and you add like another line and it changes the whole meaning of the sentence. And so I think if you're looking at the chicken scratch, there's different ways to translate it. But there are multiple translations. Which one do you have, John? What's the one that? What's the?
I've got about 5 different versions, but you know what's better than talking about books?
Book.
Reading books.
Yeah, but she's just trying to learn about, how it works.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just wondering.
If you want to learn how to walk, you gotta put one foot in front of the next. And when you put one foot in front of the next, it's called walking. When you read a book, it's called reading.
Look at the proverb that is at the beginning of my book. It says, it's like a dedication. It says, who can find a good woman? She is precious beyond all things. Her husband's heart trusts her completely. She is his best reward. Tao Te Ching, pronounced more or less Tao Te Ching, can be translated as the book of the imminence of the ways of the book of the way of how it manifests itself in the world. Jesus Christ, okay, so it can be translated as the book of the imminence of the way, or the book of the way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the book of the way. Since it's already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there is practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the pretty petty kingdoms of the time. But all the information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretation, the old master, or more picturesquely the old boy, like an Iroquois woodsman. He left no traces. All he left us is this book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom, one of the wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a dropout from society, dwelling serenely in some mountains hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. Oh my God, I'm reading terribly. What's going on with me? I don't see.
You're reading in a foreign language, which I think is impressive.
No, but I read much better than this. I don't know what's going on with me today. The misperception may arise from his insistence on Wei Wu Wei, literally doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke of the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The gameplay is the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. That's what you said before. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence, Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, and endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing, not doing, will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea. It is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds deep in her own experience the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface. That the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. I really like that one, last part. Shall I finish? It's just a little bit more. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense. Unencumbered by any concept of sin, the master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his great compassion for the wicked and selfish. And there are 2 verses. Thus the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The reader will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I have used the pronoun she, at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is essentially us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype as other versions have ironically done. Ironically, because all of the great world religions' teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the book to substitute he for she or vice versa. This is very welcome. As to method, I work for Paul Scouter's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quiet ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I also consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French, but the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of STEM training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his true disciples and hires, the early Chinese Zen masters. And the last paragraph says, with great poetry, the freest translation is sometimes the most faithful. We must try its effect as an English poem, Dr. Johnson said. That is the way to judge of the merit of a translation. I have often been fairly literal, or as literal as one can, with such a subtle kaleidoscopic book as the Tao Te Ching. But I have also prepared, expanded, contracted, interpreted, worked with the text, played with it until it became embodied in a language that felt genuine to me. If I haven't always translated Lao Tzu's words, my intention has always been to translate his mind. Okay, so maybe that's the reason why it's not different, because ultimately everyone gives them its own vibe, right? Did you all fall asleep to my broken English reading?
I'm arguing with my fucking stupid friend about Israel.
Oh, amazing. So I was reading into the void.
I was appreciating listening to you. You were reading the beginning. You were reading for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because reading out loud is a good way to learn things.
That's what Edmund
You're
says.
learning. Way woo way.
Simon, what are you doing here again? Oh my god, I have 3.9. It increased. .9K followers. I want to make it to 4. If you're not following me, people, please give me a follow so I can get to 4. Okay.
Join the house.
Join the fucking house. Is Edmund gone? Yeah, he probably left his phone here recording on. Simon, you missed my crush. Simon!
Who is your crush?
I cannot say. But I have a crush. I have a crush on Clubhouse.
Who doesn't?
I don't think everybody does. I have this one crush on Clubhouse.
Well, I'm here, but I'm working on my stupid.
I don't want it to become another Thomas situation, so I just gotta keep it to myself. Seaman, are you there? Even the audience got bored now, and they left.
Well, there are a lot of other rooms full of low IQ morons wasting time talking about nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Chillism.
Yeah, I don't feel like going to any other. Look, we were talking about the Bible, and Will C asks, what is your favorite character of the Bible? And Anne responds, James. Really? Wouldn't you choose Jesus?
Who is
Someone asks you, what's your favorite character of the Bible?
Yeah, right. It's gotta be.
Wouldn't it be the immediate response, Jesus? I mean, like, no thinking?
Well, Jesus is kind of like the Wolverine of the Bible, you know. He's the obvious choice.
Yeah, but that's your favorite character. I mean, but like, no. For me, it was James.
Lesser known, indie hit, sleeper hit, James.
That is Jaime, please. Actually, no. What is James in Spanish in the Bible? John is Juan.
James?
No, James is it's not Jaime. I mean, Jaime is a translation from James. But in Spanish, James is not Jaime. It's oh my god, I have to ask ChatGPT because I don't know who James is in Spanish. ChatGPT, come to me. Ouch. Shit. When talking about the Bible, James in the Spanish translation is who? Santiago. Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. Santiago. That is James.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I'm just watching a video of Gaza. Oh.
Oh, poor Gaza.
No. What they're gonna do with Gaza? How they're gonna turn it in Trump Gaza?
Oh, the Trump Gaza video?
Oh, you have seen it?
I have seen of it. I haven't seen the video.
Yeah, it's all AI, but it's okay.
finally blocked Jazzy
Oh, did you? Why?
because she is mean to me and she hates Jews. She's not very nice to
She
me.
hates the Jews too?
Yeah, she hates Jews.
I don't know that side of them.
She's come to hate Jews since the October 7th. She's like a fresh new,
Who has influenced her?
I don't know, Clubhouse, probably TikTok and shit. Seeing all the rubble. All the rubble.
That's right, motherfucker. Kiss my ass.
You miss him.
I do. He's probably the person that has pushed me the absolute most.
To
Who,
what?
Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy.
And
What do you mean he's pushed you?
in terms of like trying to get me to articulate my positions.
But that's good.
Him and Diego. Oh yeah, I love it. I have zero complaints. I have zero.
And I think that you do it well. Sometimes you get a little bit stuck, like I don't know, but
Well,
you
I'm
do it
retarded.
very.
What do you expect?
Huh?
I'm a retard. What do you expect?
But for a retard, you're actually very good at it.
Yeah, that's okay. So honestly, when I hear, okay, if I'm being honest, when I was in the classes at the Ayn Rand Institute, I felt like a fucking donkey. Like I was like, these people articulate these ideas insanely well. Like I honestly, in my head, I'm thinking if I could articulate these ideas this well, I would legit start a YouTube channel on just this because I know I'd go so far. Like there were some people that are really fucking good, and there's this one Israeli kid. He was a bit autistic, but he was fucking really good at explaining the concept.
Yeah, that is one of the things about objectivists that it teaches you to argue very well with reason.
That's right. It's just because like it tells you to like look at all the other positions. So it's like there's nothing there's literally nothing, maybe not literally nothing, but I've heard so many positions: Christo-fascists, Marxists, Marxist-Leninists, Fabians, conservatives, liberals, Democrats, leftists, neo-Nazis. Like I've heard so many positions, and then you have to look at like the principles guiding these things. Then you have to go into religions, Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, all this shit.
What is the conclusion?
Well, you have to kind of summarize it into principles, right? So like for example, communism, fascism, socialism all have like the underlying principle of collectivism. Like the idea that the individual doesn't matter, like, you know, your life doesn't matter, it's the collective that
Yeah,
is the ultimate.
individualism is evil because it's selfish.
Collectivism is evil.
No, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes. Individualism is. Yeah, the idea that your life matters is a foreign, is foreign and is an evil
which
concept.
is really the main distinction, right? And they don't actually understand the inversion of these ideas, because when you promote individual rights and you promote individualism, what you're doing is that you're leaving people on their own, and by doing that, you're pushing them into collaboration with others. So people know that they cannot do things on their own, but you're going to push them into a proactive, voluntary collaboration and be more participating in their societies, in their families, because they know they need others in order to succeed.
That's right.
But when you push collectivism, actually what you do is that you disconnect the individual from their personal responsibility and therefore from the surroundings, because you make them so reliant on the state and so reliant on others that they forget finding their own way. So their muscle doesn't evolve. And so they become disconnected from everything else because everything is given to them.
That's right.
Through collaboration, but given in the end to them. So they are just in receiving mode and not feeling in responsibility mode. So actually it's an inversion. When you promote individualism, you actually do more for society than when you promote collectivism. You disconnect people through collectivism.
And that's just the way people evaluate, like when it comes to helping people, or like how, like what the role of government should be. So they evaluate, like there's a poor person, therefore let's all help this poor person so we can all be lifted up, right? That's the evaluation, how that manifests politically. Now morally, like there's a massive disconnect, because these people, their evaluation is always, like Randy said, the other, right? Like I have to live for my neighbor. So anything, and then how that manifests, how that moral position or evaluation manifests politically is exactly the collectivism that we're talking about.
Yeah. And I do agree that in Christianity there is, in a Christian world is where you find more compatibility with the concepts of with individual rights, etc. But it is not because of Christianity. It is simply that Christianity has allowed, a secular Christian society has allowed for it. But it's also the same with Judaism. The only religion that does not allow for it is Islam.
That's right.
So Randy says that because of Christianity is that we have these values. I don't buy that argument.
Well,
And I am not an
it's obviously not through Christianity. It's because of Greece.
Yeah, Christianity is an influence of Greek philosophy.
Plato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, so what we have in the West is a blend of Greek philosophy, Roman law, and Christianity. But Christianity is just like a redefined Greek philosophy.
Gotcha.
I think.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but honestly, there's a book. There's a book called. I just got the PDF. It's called Creating Christ, and then Creating Christ: How Roman Emperors Invented Christianity.
And if anything, I would say, well, if we're talking about the principles, we would be referring to the Ten Commandments. And that is not coming from Christ, that is coming from Moses. And Moses is Jewish law.
Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. I have to ChatGPT this or something, but apparently there was nothing in the New Testament that wasn't already known throughout the world. So there was no new information that wasn't actually relevant at the time.
Yeah, I think that the knowledge or the wisdom, of Christianity comes from Judaism, from the Old Testament. However, what Judaism didn't do for these principles is the expansion of them. I think Christianity played a huge role in expanding just exporting these principles everywhere around the world. And that to me is the most important contribution of Christianity. The fact that it spread, through the West. And it was, let's say, it was like the DHL of Greek principles. It was the transport of Greek philosophy. And that is something that no other religion has done. Well, Muslims are doing it now, but they're spreading the wrong principles.
Do you pick the worst chemical way?
Oh, who's
That's
this?
what was the
Oh,
Hispanics?
but yeah. Oh my God, Myers there.
Issa was asking about you.
Who? Lisa. Who's that?
I'm in a room. It's called Autistic Objectivism, and I've been live streaming it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
like
gonna
that
shut it all
week
down now.
we're like sparring.
I don't know.
Because why does that hurt if you go on for a few hours?
Because none of these are plugged in. Usually I
Oh.
stack them and plug them all in. I would have just let it run, but now I don't want to lose the recording or whatever. But look, I hung up more shit. That's cool. Kahu Tech. Oh, check out that Chicago American newspaper that I bought on eBay. I just framed that. I just framed like 20 things. It's a fucking long process, framing and hanging.
You framed yourself?
I mean, I bought the frame and
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
just
wow.
fucking laid it, but I'm just saying to buying it, to framing it, to hanging it, it's like fucking takes days.
Yeah. Wow, this is nice.
It's kind of interesting from a propaganda perspective, that thing about China, about how they're a republic and no longer part of the Manchu dynasty.